5-year-old, 9-year-old, 14-year-old Gina DeJesus never made it home.
It's a family's worst nightmare. A son, a daughter, a loved one.
We're doing everything we possibly can to help you.
Gone without a trace. America's Most Wanted has brought justice and hope to families across America, helping to bring more than 65 missing children home.
Thanks to some tipsters, Elizabeth Smart was recovered alive.
Now we carry that legacy forward with a single mission: to bring the missing home.
This hole in my heart where Chelsea's supposed to be.
We've assembled a team to lead the search, boots on the ground. From America's Most Wanted, Callahan Walsh.
She doesn't even know that she's a missing child.
Gabby Petito's father, Joe Petito.
Car was parked literally right here.
True crime podcaster Payne Lindsay.
Somebody needs to be asked some hard questions.
Former undercover detective Derek Levasseur.
Maybe someone out there can do something.
And survivor and advocate Elizabeth Smart.
I'm here because you deserve your brother back home.
Working with investigators and listening to families.
Why would he take the veil? Why would he take my phone?
There's no more waiting. Tonight, we're going to find them.
Someone knows something.
This little girl is still out there.
We need your eyes. We need your voice.
We're one tip away from changing the course of this case.
We need your help.
It's a missing piece to the family.
I miss my son.
Because one sighting, one tip, one moment
We're this close.
can bring someone home.
We never stop searching because we know the families won't stop either.
The search begins now.
Good evening. I'm Harris Faulkner, and this is America's Most Wanted Missing Persons, a new show following the lead of the iconic true crime series. We have one mission: to bring missing loved ones home. Every person you'll see on the screen tonight has someone waiting for them: a parent, a child, a friend, a community that refuses to give up, and neither will we. We've assembled a team of experts who've dedicated their lives to solving cases and helping others. Derek Levasseur, you may know him from Big Brother, but he also has worked undercover with the FBI, DEA, and Secret Service. Elizabeth Smart, a survivor and advocate whose abduction recovery was made possible through America's Most Wanted. Payne Lindsay, whose investigative true crime podcast, Up and Vanished, has brought cold cases back into the national spotlight. And tonight's special guest, Callahan Walsh, a familiar face to America's Most Wanted. Callahan does incredible work with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's get to our first case now. A missing child, Sebastian Rogers. On February 25th, 2024, Sebastian's mother said goodnight to her 15-year-old son. The next morning, Sebastian was gone.
Sorry, missing juvenile. We are right now, 3 blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 120 pounds. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Juvenile does have a form of autism.
Just going around.
Sebastian is tall and skinny, has a contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, you know, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work. So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse. After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, he laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you gotta knock it off and you gotta go to bed. And he answered, you know, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. And that was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian. The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris, and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off of work, and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian's missing.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere, like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters, they used drones, they used ATVs, horseback.
An extensive search didn't yield one significant lead or even a glimpse of the boy on any doorbell cam video. Days later, investigators combed through a landfill, still saying they had found nothing.
We have nothing. We just have speculations. We get criticized, the father gets criticized, law enforcement's been criticized.
Online sleuths are really analyzing videos and creating their own theories.
Sebastian is putting something in his pocket.
Surveillance footage from a neighbor shows two people outside of Sebastian's house that night. Something happened.
Tonight marks 1 year since Sebastian Rogers disappeared near Beach High School in Sumner County.
My life is not the same without my son. And he's not here, and he's somewhere. Someone has him.
This year has been the worst nightmare I could have imagined to come alive.
Just wants whoever has him, just give him back. It's my son.
Wow, that dad. You can feel it. So we want to talk about theories now, Payne, and what might have happened with Sebastian. What are your thoughts?
I mean, here's his house. They searched miles outside of that neighborhood for days. Helicopters on the ground. They even drained a lake. He's nowhere. I don't think Sebastian would have gone outside on his own. There's someone else involved here. Somebody who was familiar to him, but a stranger to everyone else.
We also have to consider he could have left on his own volition. We know children on the autism spectrum tend to wander. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, nearly half of all children on the autism spectrum will go missing at some point from their environment.
Wow.
But I think something caused him to flee his home. Was that into the open arms of a predator? Or was there a roaming predator that just happened to see Sebastian walking down through the neighborhood?
And to me, one thing that stands out is his shoes. He always wore his shoes according to his mom.
Yeah, she shared a story that as a younger boy, he walked through a pile of dirt, turned out to be a bed of fire ants, and he had a thing about always wearing his socks and shoes. I can't think that a 15-year-old child would get up in the middle of the night and leave without his shoes. In February, it's cold. So for me, that says that someone has come and taken him, or someone else is involved. Someone knows something. And as easy as it is to be like, oh, that could never happen, like your bedroom is the safest place in the world. Well, no, bedrooms are not the safest place in the world. I was taken from my bedroom. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
So when you consider what you just said, Elizabeth, and according to Katie, that night, she goes to bed, he goes to bed, then around 10 p.m., there's a bump or a thud. She calls out to him. He says, you know, I'm fine. Yes, ma'am. I'll stop moving. And then that's the end of it. And according to her, when she went to bed, the doors were locked. And when she woke up, the doors were locked. Were the windows locked? That's a big question. Were they secure? Because if they weren't, it could mean one of two things. That thud, him responding, was someone else in there with him?
Or someone was with him and going.
Exactly.
So I do want to bring up this home security camera footage. This looks like foot traffic right in here.
Yeah, if you look at the footage here, you can see subject number 1, allegedly, right? It looks like something that's illuminated, which, by the way, we haven't mentioned it yet. According to Katie, there was a flashlight that Sebastian liked using that was missing. So you consider that, it does look like two people holding flashlights.
Yes, that paints a picture that is foul play.
Yes.
So I want to help the public now. We want to find Sebastian. What do you say to people, Elizabeth?
First of all, to the 16-year-olds of the country, the high school age, really, if you know someone who looks like Sebastian, if you know something about Sebastian, tell your parents, call into the show, call the police, report it. This might be the break that we need. To the parents, if you have seen a 16-year-old boy that looks like Sebastian, do not be afraid to pick up the phone and call.
There is a $50,000 reward to help find him. Sebastian Rogers was about 5'5" when he was last seen, and he wears glasses. Sebastian is not comfortable with strangers.
If you're someone from this small town and you're in this neighborhood, check your cameras. There might be someone sitting on some doorbell cameras footage. I bet you he's in this small town in Tennessee.
Wow, that's an interesting theory.
But this isn't the most rural area in the world. We're not talking about out in the Rocky Mountains. This is a neighborhood
There's
where
a highway going this way.
There's high foot traffic everywhere, and still no sign of him.
Wow. Thank you to our team of experts. And you all know our purpose is to examine these cases and give people watching information so they can bring the missing home. And I want to thank Callahan. I'm so glad that you're with us right now. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
And that is fantastic.
Good luck with the rest of the show.
Thank you. All right, let's move. We have more very important cases coming up. Stay close.
The last known sighting of Daniel was right here.
Yes.
No blood in the vehicle?
No blood in the vehicle.
The Jeep wasn't here when the helicopter was out here searching for it.
If this vehicle was planted here, the entire thing is a different story.
This is an internet cult.
6 people in this house, and they're all missing.
Is she being held against her will?
These people simply vanished.
Welcome back. Daniel Robinson vanished in the Arizona desert in 2021, and there are so many theories about what could have happened to him. Payne Lindsay has been following this case since the beginning, and he went back into the field, retracing Daniel's last steps, searching for answers.
It's emotional for me seeing Daniel's dad, David, again, because the last time I talked to him was a couple of years ago.
What's your mission here? My mission is to get my son's story out.
I just could only imagine that there's a lot propelling that.
My love for my son is propelling.
Of course,
all of this.
yeah. All these years later, we still don't have any answers. I can only imagine what that feels like for him.
June the 23rd of 2021. I got a phone call from my daughter. That really changed everything for us.
Daniel Robinson was last seen in the area of Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road.
Police say he was last seen here in the Buckeye area after leaving work that day. And the family is desperate for answers, asking the public for help in locating their son.
We know Daniel would not go anywhere without telling us. I sent my daughter over to his apartment. He wasn't there, his vehicle was gone. So I just grabbed everything I could and just hopped in the car and just started driving. Daniel is my youngest son. He's a very ambitious person. The first indication of that, he was born without a right hand. So for us as parents, we'll think it would be a hindrance for Daniel, but for Daniel, no. He just told us that, hey, I'm gonna be okay. He taught himself how to play the French horn.
Daniel!
He decided to go to college, and once he got there, he said, hey, look, I want to be a geologist.
He got a position as a hydrogeologist immediately after college. He thought it was really cool to be out there in the desert, to do work out there, so he was pretty happy with that.
In June of 2021, Daniel was conducting a survey at this site in Buckeye, Arizona, to determine if there was enough water to support a new housing development. The last known sighting of Daniel was right here.
Yes, Daniel's out here to meet a worker. His name is Ken. Ken mentioned that he felt that Daniel was acting odd and strange. But I did talk to my son 2 days prior to him going missing.
What's his demeanor?
Exactly like it was. We had a great conversation. Daniel waved off to him, hopped in his vehicle, was probably parked right there, and drove off to never be seen again.
That's the last person to have seen Daniel alive.
Right, right.
There's no history of mental illness with Daniel, so we can't definitively say that there was something going on there or not. Is it possible that Daniel found something?
And I know my son. He definitely would say something about these wells if there's not enough water here.
A month after Daniel's disappearance, a local rancher discovered his Jeep on his property. The biggest question is, was Daniel a victim of foul play?
We both kind of came up the little hill where we'd seen Daniel's Jeep in there. It was just stuck in there like a dart. I told my wife, I said, hey, I found this Jeep. She said, what's it look like? And I told her, and she says, that's the Jeep the Buckeye PD is looking for.
After learning of Daniel's disappearance, his father, David, filed a missing persons report, and search efforts began. For 29 days, the search for Daniel covered 70 square miles. But you hadn't seen him before that.
The Jeep wasn't here when the helicopter was out here searching for it. It's cowboy knowledge. If something new is out here, the cattle are gonna come to it. If we leave this Jeep here for 2 or 3 days, we come back, the windows will be smudged. Because cows will lick it.
Why?
They're salt deficient. There's salt on that vehicle. There was none of that action going on. My point to the detectives was that Jeep had not been there as long as you were telling me it's been there.
This area was already searched by helicopters and people on foot for almost a month. How did they not see it? No blood in the vehicle?
No blood in the vehicle.
There's no blood in the car. There's no trace DNA. It's almost as if it was never in it.
When I found the Jeep, there was a case of water in it. If he got out of that Jeep and started walking, he'd be coherent enough to take water.
Why would he not bring the water with him? And one thing that bothers me is that Daniel apparently strips down all of his clothes and his boots, but one of the boots is underneath the car. Still glass here. I mean, either way, we know that his Jeep was here.
It was here.
Where was Daniel?
Actually sitting in the ravine, and then you can understand, this is really, really painful.
The thing is, if this vehicle was planted here, the entire thing is a different story.
I can't say anything about the story without first stopping on that dad.
He's amazing. This guy is a fighter. He is ex-military. I went to Arizona with a very open mind to all possibilities. I left knowing in my heart that this case is riddled with foul play. The biggest piece of evidence in this case is his Jeep.
Something odd was going on with that Jeep.
What's inside this Jeep is the most interesting and the most damning.
The black box.
The black box.
Yeah, we'll find out more about that and additional details. We'll have part 2 coming up next. Stay close. Three years, 10 months, and 5 days. That's how long Daniel Robinson has been missing. Payne was our boots on the ground, and he discovered shocking information from the black box of Daniel's Jeep. Here is part 2 of the story.
The idea that you have to go into a desert to look for your child, that alone is hard. The terrain, it goes on and on and on. It's very intimidating.
There's no doubt Daniel's vehicle was badly damaged. The question is, was Daniel driving it when it got in a wreck? I'm not convinced he was.
The latest information released about the case has to do with the crash data from the Jeep Daniel Robinson was driving.
What's going on, man? How you doing, Jeff? Hey, now I'm going to see the Jeep with my own eyes and meet the private investigator, Jeff McGrath, to talk about this black box information. Ooh.
We download the black box, and it'll tell you the mileage at the point that this impact happened and it blew the airbags. And then the mileage it was when we recovered it was 11 miles different. So that means the vehicle drove another 11 miles after the airbags came in.
So where'd the 11 miles come from?
That's what we don't know. That concerned me because it tells me that there was a collision somewhere else, and that vehicle ended up there. In all my years doing this, I haven't seen anything like that. This damage and this windshield happened prior to the ravine.
What does that tell you?
That tells me that something happened in those 11 miles.
Like what?
I don't know.
Does that mean someone else was driving the vehicle after it wrecked?
There was an impact on this roofline, and somewhere in this, I couldn't tie it to anything in the location it was recovered from.
So in your professional opinion, does it look like it sustained this damage from the car crash there in the ravine or not?
Not in the ravine, no.
I'm just like, can one thing actually make sense here? If we learned breaking news tomorrow that Daniel was murdered, would it shock you?
No.
Why not?
Because I haven't been able to rule that out.
In my experience, common sense always prevails. There is just too much wrong with this case.
We're learning more about Daniel Robinson's last text message. His dad and sister told police that he had met a woman and that he was in love with her, but that woman told investigators she was not in a relationship with him.
He sends this cryptic message. The world can get better, but I'll have to take all the time that I can or we can, whatever to name it, I'll either see you again or never see you again. And that's the last text sent from his phone.
Ever.
Ever.
It's not the kind of text that you want to see right before someone goes missing. When's the last time you were in here?
Man, it's been a year and a half now.
Right here?
Yeah, 2057. So. There we go.
In May of 2023, Buckeye police concluded that Daniel's disappearance was no longer a criminal investigation. All personal property was returned to Daniel's father, David. These all police bags here?
Yeah, this right here would be Daniel's boots.
Oh, wow.
One was tucked under the front end of the vehicle.
I mean, these are all sealed, right?
Yes, yes. The evidence sticker, that's what was placed on here by the Tempe Police Department.
Okay.
This is definitely saying someone was there in his apartment because the utilization of this computer happened after June 23rd, 2021.
It's impossible.
Right.
A digital forensics team examined Daniel's computer and found that it had been accessed after the date he disappeared. The key point here is that his computer was accessed after he went missing. The storage locker also contains pieces of Daniel's life. Would you be willing to show me a couple of his personal items?
I really don't think I'm in mental space to do that today. I won't have a hard time doing this. And when I go through these things, I need to do this by myself. I haven't seen Daniel things in over a year, almost 2 years, and it just put me back in that space. You hold on to things and say, it's a piece of that person. Eventually, when it's all gone, then is that person like gone forever too?
Daniel's family needs your help. If you know anything, you should come forward.
It's hard just to leave it behind again. Daniel, I know you out there. I have my faith. I love you. I want to bring you back home. I want you to come home. There you go. In the military, we were taught to never leave an American behind. I never thought I would have to do the same for my family. If you know something, please, it's time to say something.
We're gonna find him. It's been too long and we're this close.
Very close.
There are so many theories, and Payne, the black box seems to really bring the strongest evidence for potential foul play.
The computer inside his Jeep stated that after the airbag went off, which is presumably when he got in some sort of crash, the vehicle was driven 11 additional miles after that. Just for a loose reference, this is about 11 miles here. And if the crash happened there, how is it possible that 11 miles were added to the odometer?
That's a lot of unexplained miles.
Not only that, with one of the most compelling pieces of information with the black box is the fact that the driver, whoever was driving the car, had their seatbelt on. To me, if we're going with foul play and somebody else was driving and they're trying to get out of there quick, I don't know if they're putting their seatbelt on. I haven't seen that in my experience. It may have just been a tragic accident, but there are definitely things that leave a lot of open-ended questions that I'm concerned about.
And also, after the airbag went off, the ignition was attempted 46 times.
That's crazy.
In what world does that make any sense?
Look, Elizabeth, this makes me think again of that father.
As a parent, you'd never leave your child behind. You'll never give up on your child. And at this point, it really is kind of like grasping at straws. So here's the Jeep, but here are his clothes on the ground. Why anyone would go into the desert, take their clothes off? You can see this is really rough terrain. I mean, I do not understand taking them off. And we can see the car on its side. Why is someone trying to start the car if it's on its side? Why would you do that?
And areas like this in Arizona, a border state, we have seen cartel activity.
Yep, 100%. Maybe he drives into something that he wasn't supposed to be part of. Do I necessarily think that's what happened? There's nothing to support it, but there's also nothing exculpatory to say 100% it didn't happen.
David, Daniel's father, found 5 sets of human remains, not Daniel, other people. And so shady stuff has clearly happened here. Did something shady happen that day that involved Daniel?
We also have the text message, too. I'll either see you again or I'll never see you again. What do you guys think of that?
He was in a vulnerable state of mind.
I just really struggle to think that he was in such a terrible place that he would do something really drastic to himself.
Elizabeth, you went missing as a child. You're now a parent. When you look at this case, as a mom, what do you say?
The truth about Daniel is that he never stopped being someone's child. He never stopped being a brother to his sister. This case should never have been closed. He deserves to be found.
Amen. Payne, you spent time with Daniel's dad. What is the plea from you to all the people who could possibly make a difference?
The audience can help by keeping his story alive. In my opinion, until Daniel is found, this case should be open.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we haven't found him, which is obviously demoralizing, but at the same time, I have hope. Because until we know definitively that he's been found and he's no longer with us, I'm going to continue to believe, like David, that he's still out there somewhere.
Police have determined that there is no criminal wrongdoing. We need your help to find the answers and to bring Daniel home. Please call 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to our website, amwtips.com. Welcome back. In our next case, 6 people are missing in Missouri. Could the teachings of a cult be responsible for their disappearance? Take a look.
6 people missing for months after following this alleged cult leader. August 13th, 2023 was the last time anyone saw 25-year-old Michaela Thompson, 27-year-old Jarrell German, and 36-year-old Michaela Wickerson.
My daughter and my grandbaby have been missing about 1.5 years. I am determined to find them, and I will be posting these flyers every chance that I get until they are brought home. Michaela is my daughter, and Malaya is my granddaughter. Michaela worked in stocks and investment banking. She just excelled in all things that she did. She came back home in 2020 when she had gotten pregnant with my granddaughter. Michaela was battling postpartum, but I was hopeful that she was getting better when she had moved into her own place because this was a new journey for them together on their own.
Cartisha Morgan says her daughter began a spiritual journey, then suddenly quit her job and invited 4 strangers she met on the internet to move in.
We went over to the house one time and a young gentleman had a gun. I'm asking Michaela what is going on. She said that is her new family and that I was no longer her family. I did not understand the change, and the change happened so swiftly. Weapons were being displayed. Is she being held against her will? That's when I called the police.
The mother of Michaela Wickerson wanted the Berkeley police to check on her daughter. So on August 13th, 2023, we did a wellness check.
There's 6 people in this house: Michaela Thompson, Michaela Wickerson, Naaman Williams, Jeriel German, Ashton Mitchell, and Malaya Wickerson. And they're all missing.
It appeared as if whoever was there simply left to go to the store. There was a glass of water next to the couch. There was food in the microwave, clothes in the washing machine. And so we took a very aggressive approach to whether or not we had a homicide because these people simply vanished. We sprayed the rooms with luminol, looking for any sign of a murder. We found no evidence of any blood splatter, but in one of the rooms on a mirror in lipstick was written, "I am that I am." It was very odd. I've never seen a case anything like this. In order to find the missing 6, I have to understand what were they doing. And taking a look at their social media, I found the common denominator was Rashad Jamal.
You will awaken whether you want to or not. You will shift.
He has 900,000 followers across multiple social media platforms. He scares people into the rapture is coming.
I have unplugged so many of you from this matrix.
He sells fear and he sells salvation. This is an internet cult. In the summer of 2023, Rashad Jamal was convicted of a child sex offense. Based on what we know in this investigation, these kids could be in danger.
With Rashad Jamal behind bars and cut off from his online followers, police worry a new leader may be stepping up.
My biggest concern is Naaman Williams. He followed Rashad Jamal.
So once again, peace to the gods and gods to the
peace to the gods and goddesses, man.
And you look at the teachings of Rashad, well, you know, at the end of the day, he's a convicted child molester. We asked the FBI for their help.
We know at the beginning of August, Michaela Wickerson and the other missing people checked into a hotel in Florissant, Missouri. Then we know on August 6th, they ordered a lift at that hotel to bring them to a gas station. And then they just completely stopped using their cell phones.
If Naaman Williams and the 3 women left and simply don't want to be found, they have every right to do that. But the state of Missouri has a law against parental kidnapping, and Michaela Wickerson may face charges.
Police say concern is growing over the disappearance of 4 adults and 2 small children, Malaya Wickerson and Ashton Mitchell.
Anytime a child goes missing, there's concern that they could be in danger, being held against their will, in a position where they could be easily exploited or abused.
In any missing persons case, we're very concerned about human trafficking, sex trafficking, prostitution. How are these women getting by? They're not built to live off the grid, and 2 children are along for the ride. So it's very concerning for the family members because they're wondering if their loved ones are even alive.
I haven't seen my grandbaby since she was 2.5. She'll be 5 in October. My heart is hurting right now. I don't know. I just want to make sure that they're okay. I've never given up on you, Michaela and Malaya. I will keep searching for you guys until I find you.
We know the one common denominator between all these people is this alleged cult leader, Rashad Jamal. Let's get into this. Derek, how did we get here with these people living together?
Yeah, that's the big question. If we want to find them, we got to understand how we got to this point. And when they go into the house, if we can pull that up, and you can see from these photos, it appeared that they left pretty quickly. But the photo that I found the most interesting was the bathroom mirror.
I am that I am,
Yep.
with spelled like an I, eyeball.
Yep. I think we have a video that may answer why this is important.
I give life to the moons, the planets. I am that I am.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go. More than likely, they all gathered at this location because of this common bond that probably starts at Rashad.
And he is in prison for 18 years, and you think there might be some connection to what was going on about that time.
It may tell us where they are. So here's the rental home, and then they go up to this hotel, and then they end up at this gas station on August 6th, and that's where they dump their phones as well. Why is that important? Well, this takes place in August. When was Rashad Jamal convicted? In August. What did his followers implore people to do? Come to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's right.
Major highway right here to Atlanta. So that could be where they're heading. But how did they get from here to wherever they're going?
Somebody picks them up.
Somebody, who?
Another follower.
Someone who's not in prison.
Figure that out, and you find them.
Wow. Well, Rashad Jamal has denied being a cult leader and told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch that he doesn't know any of the 6 missing people. So the question, how could this offer clues to finding them?
If we're going to find these people, the answer is in this cult-like behavior.
Derek, thank you. Coming up after the break, Sarah Edmondson escaped the notorious NXIVM cult. And now she's helping you to spot the red flags. And we hope to help all of us find the answers before it's too late. Stay close. Welcome back. The possible cult connection in the Missouri case is something we want you to look out for. And now we have someone here to help us. Sarah Edmondson helped bring down one of the most infamous cults in recent history, NXIVM, and its leader, Keith Raniere. Take a look.
Just a few minutes ago, Keith Raniere was sentenced to 120 years in federal prison.
What do you think of this? Any comments?
In October of 2020, founder of the NXIVM organization, Keith Raniere, was sentenced to prison for charges that included racketeering and sex trafficking.
Raniere pitched himself as a messiah-like figure and used his power to manipulate and sleep with women in his cult.
But many of the women were groomed into becoming sex slaves. Others were even branded with his initial. One of those women is Sarah Edmondson.
My intuition was slowly dismantled from day one.
Sarah Edmondson, is with us now. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you
and
so
I'm glad
much.
you're well and safe.
I am.
How did you get involved in NXIVM?
Well, I joined what I thought was a personal and professional development program, and it was a wonderful place until it wasn't. I was actually in NXIVM for 12 years. So there were a lot of things that happened over that time that varied from normal to weirder to very, very dark.
One of the things that actually I'm really curious about, because as I've learned more about this case, there have been some parallels, I feel like, from my own experience. And do you feel like there are parallels for you here? Or are there things that just like stand out to you that kind of give you the creeps?
Absolutely. When I first started researching it, I was shocked at the parallels. With this group in NXIVM, the process is the same. So we have these two very charismatic leaders dangling something that will appeal to someone on a core level, but also maybe hook into certain vulnerabilities.
Oh, boy.
Could we get the journal entry pulled up right here?
We're going to take a look at the journal here written by one of the missing adults.
I mean, every single one of these phrases that has been written down.
This was found in the house, right?
This was found in the house.
This is super creepy.
It is creepy, right?
And my journals looked very similar.
Really?
Yeah, because each one of these words means something specific to them.
Yes.
All cults, and certainly in ours, have their language that makes them feel special, that they have something that nobody else understands, and it bonds the group.
Do you feel like most cult members have a line where if that line was crossed, they'd be like, this is wrong?
I know I had my line, for sure. That was finding out the truth about what Keith Raniere was really up to. There's people who know that and are still loyal to Keith, despite him being in jail for 120 years. Yes, there's still a loyal group of followers.
I mean, how can someone, continue to follow someone knowing that they've done wrong?
Well, as somebody who used to be a believer in Keith Raniere, there were accusations of things he had done, but we were taught, and I truly did believe that was a smear campaign.
So he's the victim.
So the more he was accused, the more we felt that we were on the right track.
You can make it make sense at the time.
Yes.
Wow.
I can totally see how anyone who's made that commitment to him and believes him to be a divine source would see his jail sentence as proof that he is speaking truth and that the world is out to get him.
That's exactly what my captors said. He said he was being persecuted because he was a prophet of God.
Wow. Sarah, I saw you share a look there. I mean, you have a similar journey, although how you got to where you are is different, and I know it's hard.
When I read your book, I felt so much empathy for what you went through, because I know it must have been, well, I'm guessing there's so much shame. But to lean into that and to share your story publicly was a real inspiration for me to continue to speak up. So I want to thank you for that. You're one of my personal heroes in this weird space we found ourselves in.
I don't think anybody ever plans on ending up here.
Well, then look at how you've come together to help other people. You're the ultimate survivors. So as you look at this particular case, what would you say to the public, Sarah?
I'm not a law enforcement expert by any means, but I hope that people watch this and if they see these children, they're not going to know how to access their own autonomy. They're going to refer to whoever is with them, and that's also a tell.
I have a question. How do we as investigators define choice? Because they are adults, and you may be looking at it from the outside and saying, no, there's something more going on here. How do we navigate that situation?
It's tricky because they may feel like they have a choice, and they may, in that moment, think that is what they want to do. But I think a very important question to ask any of those women is this what you signed up for?
That's a great question, though. Yeah. Is this what you originally signed up for? I love that.
What about a warrant situation?
Well, we do have the parental kidnapping warrant for Michaela right now. So having that gives us a tool in the toolbox to find her for a legal reason. And if Michaela doesn't want to come back, well, she might not have a choice at this point if she's going to be arrested. So it does give us some leverage from the law enforcement side to kind of expand our search and obviously raise the level of intensity that we're approaching this.
I want to know from you, if you can, Sarah, people see one or more of these people out. What can save their lives at this point?
I think if they're out in the world and not completely underground, they could look for women perhaps who are more guarded and paranoid, because if they're on the run and then there's a warrant out for their arrest, they're going to be defensive.
If they were to hear that right now and they wanted to get out, but they don't know how, what would you say to them?
I would say reach out to somebody who has been there for you in the past, somebody who really loves you and loves you no matter what. And I will tell you that these leaders don't love you no matter what. They only love you if you follow the rules of the group and if you're obedient. And that's not love.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that those children could grow up in a cult, which I would imagine would make it much more dynamically different to rescue them and the others with them.
I would be very concerned for these kids, especially if they're, on the run or if they're in hiding. We don't really know exactly, but there's so many ways this could go. I'd be very, very, very concerned.
Yeah.
900,000 followers on the internet.
Yeah.
Somebody knows something. Sarah, thank you very much. It is a blessing that you can help us with our mission to find missing persons. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
These individuals were last seen at a hotel in Florissant, Missouri, but they could be anywhere. So please be on the lookout. Call 1-866-AMW-TIPS or go to our website, amwtips.com. We also need your help with this urgent case.
Ella Saylor, now 16 years old, went missing from her home in Muncie, Indiana on February 3rd, 2024. Ella's family says everything seemed normal when Ella went to bed around 11 p.m. But the next morning, she was gone. Ella is 5 feet 4 inches tall and about 230 pounds with brown hair and hazel eyes. She may have traveled to the Indianapolis or Chicago area. You could make a difference. You could bring her home.
We all think it can't happen to our friends, our children, our neighbors. But these cases are as mysterious as they are emotionally charged. And with your help, we can bring the missing home to the people who love them most. Take a look once again at these faces. Sebastian Rogers was 5'5" when he was last seen and wears glasses. His parents are desperate for any information about their son. Geologist Daniel Robinson vanished 4 years ago in Arizona. He is missing part of his right arm. And the 6 people missing in Missouri, including 2 young children. Naaman Williams could be the key to finding them. He's 270 pounds and has a tattoo between his eyes. Call 1-866-AMW-TIPS, or you can go to our website, amwtips.com. I want to thank our incredible team, Derek, Elizabeth, Payne, and of course, Callahan Walsh, for sharing all of their personal experiences and expertise. Our mission to bring loved ones home is just getting started. I'm Harris Faulkner. I want to thank you for being with us. Stay close. We'll make a difference together.
Next week on America's Most Wanted Missing Persons.
You're not only grieving the loss of your sister, but searching for a missing child. Do you think it's a possibility she doesn't even know that she's missing 100%?
The giant wound his absence has left is heartbreaking.
I want him home. He was my role model. He was the person I looked up to.
I knew when his car was empty that I may never see him again.